But we also have a sense of anticipatory grief and a sense of loss of safety. And Jim, I think your introduction was very appropriate to kind of how do we deal with this? And I kind of came up from multiple articles, some 10 things that we might be able to do that you might find helpful. So first off, what you're feeling is normal. I think of the first time, oftentimes, when a person comes into my office and they are just telling me all their what they're concerned about, they're telling me, and they're looking at me like I'm going to give them some awful diagnosis. And I will say to them, 9 times out of 10, what you are feeling is normal in a very abnormal situation. And they'll look at me like, you mean I'm not crazy? And usually then I'll laugh. And again, I will say, no, what you are feeling is normal in an abnormal situation. And I think that's important to remember, number one, because we are all having different kind of feelings, and it is normal to have a reaction when we're going through this kind of change. Second, know the facts, even difficult ones. And I think Jim addressed that. Faith is not, doesn't mean you don't have faith that things are going to come out, but you want to know the facts. And I think Governor DeWine and Dr. Acton are doing an excellent job of presenting fact-based daily updates at 2 p.m. They give an excellent fact, calming, hopeful sense of the future, but realistic. And I think it's a good basis. 3, ground yourself in the present. Anxiety is always future focused and depression is always in the past. And so anxiety is usually playing out a worst case anxiety as far as scenario, as far as what's going to happen in detail. So that's in your mind. What you want to do is get that emotional side of your brain, that mind racing. You want to get out of your mind, not get out of your mind literally, but get out of the mind. Meditation, prayer, yoga, they're all calming. They're all helping to change your brain's focus to a different, more productive pattern. Part of that can also be a very simple technique, which is called grounding. And that means 5 senses. Think of your 5 senses. You see, hear, feel, touch, and smell. And what you're doing is bringing yourself, you are safe here and now. So what you want to do is touch something and remember you are physically present. You're bringing yourself back to your body, out of your mind. And notice what is around you. I see an orange file folder. I see my iPad. Not smelling anything in particular right now. I see a blue water bottle. So, but those kinds of things, that brings you back from your emotional part of your brain to your cognitive part of your brain. And that can be very helpful if you're experiencing something where you're just, feeling upset or panicked. 4, distraction. Nothing wrong with distraction. Nothing wrong at all. If we fixate on dangers, anxiety grows, and when we turn our attention elsewhere, it shrinks. Puzzle sales are through the roof. Families are doing puzzles. That's a great distraction. Books, music, make art, sing like the Italians, garden, take walks. All these provide diversion for your brain and give it something else to think about. Fear and panic are just the emotional side. You want to engage your cognitive, and also with art and music, that's engaging a different part of your brain. It's calming as well, and it's good activity. So nothing wrong with distraction. If that means Netflix for you, that's fine too. 5, if possible, identify the source of your anxiety. Is something in particular triggering your anxiety or feeling sad? Are you watching too much news? Even before this, I would tell my clients to turn off the news so often, because that really can trigger your fear and hyperness. Are you worried about your spouse getting sick? Well, that leads to the next point, which is number 6. Don't procrastinate about preparing for the worst. If in fact there are things you really need to do, so in the example, you're worried your spouse is going to get sick, take the action you can. Do practical steps to stay healthy, monitor health, and then you focus elsewhere. Let it go. Um, Anxiety pushes us either to overreact, buy that toilet paper at Costco, or underreact, which means passivity and doing nothing. And that passivity and inaction tends to make fear grow. So if you feel frozen, if you're not able to do things, ask a buddy, ask them what, push them, kind of talk to them about it and ask their advice. And then maybe, you'll take their advice, maybe you won't, but at least you'll be helping you make wise decisions about what you really need to do. What is realistic for me to do today? 7, don't be afraid to ask for help or offer help. Now is the time to turn toward one another, not away. We as human beings are designed to be social. I mean, we are born helpless. We depend on our mother and father for, how long until we can really do some things for ourselves. No other animal is so dependent on others. We are made to be social. So ask for help. I think our American culture has been so oriented toward the individual that we forget that. I think we're remembering it now as Americans that we need each other and we need to help each other. And I already mentioned talking to a friend. I will mention as far as asking for help, because if you know somebody or if you yourself are feeling, doing harm to yourself or others, please get help. Please say something. Be aware if somebody says something that might indicate some suicidal thoughts or potential toward action. That's important because people do give indications. And don't forget that telemedicine is what's happening now. So it's not that you have to go into an office. You can socially distance and talk over the phone or the Zoom or whatever portal they offer. 8, connect, connect, connect. Just like real estate is location, location, location. Again, we are social. We're physically distancing, but there's no need to socially disconnect. So how do you stay connected to those? Callaway, could you mute, please? We are physically distancing, but there's no need to social distance. So stay connected to those who induce a state of calm, not chaos. Use phone, text, whatever your means of connection is. Do what you can to connect with others. 9 and 10 are very, very similar, but 9 is practice self-compassion. We're being kind to other people. But how about yourself? Remember how you felt when your mother or your father or your sister, brother, spouse died. You couldn't think straight. You didn't feel like doing much. Your body had weird aches and pains, and your emotions felt weird. Grief is like that. Grief is weird. It comes in waves. It's physiological at times, and it careens through our bodies and makes us miserable. So be kind to yourself. It's okay to sleep more than usual, to feel like you're not accomplishing anything. Grief is like that. And I already mentioned, if you're having any thoughts of self-harm, to make sure to talk to somebody. And finally, take care of yourself with sleep, exercise, healthy food, and some sort of relaxation. All these things will keep you healthy so that you can do the best job recovering if you get sick. So we've got sleep. You're probably sleeping more than usual. That's okay. We don't sleep enough in the United States. Anxiety takes energy. Don't forget that. All this is overwhelming. It takes energy to deal with the unexpected. This is not life as usual. Exercise. I don't mean you have to, run out a marathon or anything like that, but routine body movement, videos, YouTube, books that can give you ways to do chair yoga, weights, whatever. Nature calms our souls. Walk, get outside, slow, if you're exercising, start slow and work up. Um, and this might sound simple, but if you're living with someone who's also isolating and they're not a first line responder, hug them daily. Physical touch is important. You know, remember that, again, we're back to Psych 101. Remember from that orphanage in the 40s or whenever, when they would feed the kids but not touch them? They died. We as humans need physical touch. And if you are with somebody else living, then, hug each other. That's a good thing. And I'll end with number 11, which is gratitude. Gratitude for what we have, and thankfulness for the moments that we have right now to share with our family and those that we love.
Thank you, Nancy. Very well done.